How can a man provide without the financial backing that is needed to provide and to protect? You need money in order to purchase things, to provide. And nowadays, if a relationship increases the burdens on a woman instead of reducing it, what is the value of that relationship? I feel like women ask that question in a way that seems like an attack rather than a segue for an open and honest conversation. These days we hear things like, what do you bring to the table? For me, a man that wants to be with me and a man that I choose to be with has to provide and protect. Those are the fundamentals of what I want from a man. You have to be able to provide and to protect. What counts as provision and protection? Some people believe provision equals financial stability, while some people believe protection equals physical safety plus being able to relax, being able to reset and receive care and not have to operate on survival mode. Operating on survival mode simply means a woman that has to worry about making ends meet. Women that have to worry about making ends meet tend to put on the clothes of masculinity in order to be able to provide these provisions needed in her household. So if a man is in your household, you should be able to take off that cloth of masculinity, right? Because he wears the clothes, he's providing and he's protecting. Others may define protection and provision as emotional steadiness, practical support, shared responsibilities, partnership during hard seasons, and helping one another create ease. Some women might say, if the money stops flowing, then I'm out the door. And are they wrong? Are they wrong in that mindset? Because if the money is out the door, does the provision and protection not cease? How can a man provide without financial stability? How can a man provide without the financial backing that is needed to provide and to protect? You need money in order to purchase things, to provide. And nowadays, in order to protect, you also need money. So is the question that women tend to ask men, what do you bring to the table? And in most cases, they're speaking about finances. What kind of financial buoyancy and financial security do you bring to the table? Because by definition, if you're asking that a man provides and protects, he needs finances to be able to do those things. In my opinion, relationships are hard work. And a lot of the work that comes from these relationships is women having to tiptoe and nurture the way that they speak to men or interact with men, because men tend to operate from a point of ego. So I dated someone that taught me a lot about how men that are emotionally unintelligent operate. Not all men operate this way, but men that tend to fall in the categories of men that are emotionally unintelligent tend to operate from the standpoint of ego. And if you're in a relationship with a man that operates from a standpoint of ego, you tend to, as the woman, get exhausted simply by just having to tiptoe and walk on eggshells around his ego, not making him feel insecure or invalidate his opinion and things like that. That takes a lot of work. A man that has money can operate from the point of ego. Just because you have money as a man doesn't mean you're automatically you check the box of emotional intelligence. Men that have money can be emotionally unintelligent, but then if a man is emotionally unintelligent, wouldn't you prefer the one that has money than the one that doesn't? Because at least at the end of the day that you get to go to a spa date and relax after you've walked on eggshells, protecting this man's ego. But a man that does not come with the financial backing, after you spend your whole day slaving in the kitchen, providing, if he doesn't have money, women tend to then take on the responsibility of providing for these men. You're providing food, you're providing sometimes shelter, and you're dealing with a man that wants to operate from a point of ego. That's exhausting. And you can, at the end of the day, go and buy a nice bottle of champagne to unwind. That's unnecessary. That's unnecessary. When I get asked these days if I'm single or if I'm single and searching, I first have to analyze the man. If I analyze you, I know we say don't judge a book by its cover, but we're humans. We all judge a book by its cover. If what you present to me is a man that cannot provide, in my simple definition of providing and protecting, you have to have money to do that. For me, your definition could be different, and I don't really understand how it can be different, but we all have different understandings in life. So if I analyze someone that's asking me, are you single and searching, and I analyze you and you look like you need help yourself, my answer is going to be no. I'm going to say no, I'm not single, or no, I'm not searching, I'm focused on my business is what I tend to say to these men that I deem unworthy, is that I'm focused on my business, because what level of provision and protection are you going to bring to me? I'm a successful woman. I hold my own. I make lots of money. What would you be bringing to my table? Given the climate that you're in, a lot of men tend to think all they need to bring to the table is their body parts. Oh, let me lay that pipe on her. Let me lay that dick down. I'm trying to be direct, okay? So let's just get to the point. Some men feel like, okay, I put in really good penetration work, so she'll be all right. I don't know the women that'll be okay with. I don't associate with such women, because there's more to life than physical pleasure. And one thing that I will say, one of the keys to being happy and creating space for you to be happy in life is having sexual discipline. Sexual discipline will save you from a lot of rubbish and garbage. Some men feel attacked by this question, what do you bring to the table? And some women's definition of provision and protection, because they feel that they don't want their value being tied to what they can offer financially. Again, I don't understand. I don't know any of those men. I don't understand that point of view, because the definition to me, and the only definition that should stand for provision and protection, you need money to be able to do that. So if you're feeling used, you're feeling unappreciated, you want to be appreciated without having, I can't even wrap my head around the concept. I'm trying to say it, kind of point out their defense, and can't even wrap my head around it. There's often tension between love as partnership and love as protection and provision. And I feel like the right man does not need convincing to understand this. So if you need to over-explain this to a man that you're dealing with, you probably shouldn't be dealing with that man. Because most women are not asking for luxury. They're not asking for Rolls Royces as cars, as their daily cars. They're not asking for multiple trips abroad, overseas for vacation each year, and maids and nannies. They're simply asking for the basics. What is a man's role in your life if he cannot provide and protect? And under that provide and protect motto, I really don't see how the 50-50 thing even comes about. Is he supposed to provide and protect 50% of the time? Women are more so saying, I want a relationship that creates space for peace, space for me as a woman to be feminine, space for my femininity to blossom. And a woman that is worried about ends meeting and worried about bills is not operating in her feminine. She's operating in her masculine. Women are saying that they want a relationship that they feel supported, and not one that they feel like the workload is added upon. And that's a valid thing to want. Most men want a woman that can respect them and honor them, and I honestly don't see how I can respect a man and I'm worrying about the light bill, I'm worried about the gas bill, I'm worried about rent. Why are you here? As the man, I would be honestly looking at you like, why are you here? Why are you here? For sexual pleasures? Surely I can have that with some, I wouldn't say random guy, but I can surely pick someone out of the plethora of men that throw themselves at me on the daily, and just have something casual instead of having the whole responsibilities of relationship and work of a relationship. Relationships are work, is work. I don't know how you want to look at it, how you want to cut it. Relationships is work. It takes work to make a relationship work. Me being an industrious woman, that I always have a pet project, I always have a hobby, I always have something doing. I don't necessarily want a man to fully provide. I mean, I can pay for my hair to be washed and blow dried. I can spend that little $50. But everything else, sir, if you're gonna be in my life, you need to provide those things. I'm saying all this because one of my admirers online was, sparking a conversation of his intentions of a relationship with me. And one of the things he said is that, I want a nice woman, I want a God-fearing woman, I want a hard-working woman. I don't want someone that's a biller. And I was like, sir, I'm not for you, okay? I can help you find what you need, because I'm sure there are plenty of women out. I don't understand. I don't know them, but I personally don't know them, but I could possibly find someone like that for you, because there's no way you're gonna come to me and tell me you don't want a biller. What does that mean? What does that mean? And there's no need to insult anyone when conversations like that come about. It's just to redirect them to what would better suit them, which isn't me. Because I'm gonna bill you. And the thing is, I shouldn't even have to bill you. It's something you should just do naturally. You should want to provide for me. You should want to take the load off of me. Sure, I'm an independent woman, and it's all sounds fun and nice, but wouldn't it be lovely if a man, big old Prince Charming, came about and just swooped all my bills away? Swooped all my bills away. Make sure say, baby, you don't have to work. You don't have to do that this week. Take a month off. That would be nice, wouldn't it?